Hi, thanks for joining me on this 5th of April 2022. I'm talking on various different subjects today about some energy that's happening, on talking on some predictions that I already made previously and what's unfolding with them. Just a range of topics, really. Um, what I have noticed is because being an empath on a very deep level, I feel physical pain. Like I've mentioned this many, many times, when someone else is in pain, especially somebody I know, I feel the pain in my own body. And something that I have noticed that's been happening is before everybody goes through something like a flu, like the COVID, like any kind of something where a lot of people are being affected, I start feeling it way before it happens. I think it's kind of like the same thing I do when someone's having a heart attack and I feel their heart pain. It's like I know that a lot of people are going to be feeling this, so I go through it first so I can understand it, and then I start hearing people and they contacting me saying, "Oh, I've got this problem." It's exactly the same problem as what I've already felt. I did that with back in 2018 for that whole year, and 2019. I had like flu-like symptoms, a cough. I lost my taste and smell. Everything was happening back in 2018 and 19 before COVID was even declared as a virus. What I am feeling at the moment is a lot of digestive issues, a lot of cramping in the digestive system, um, sort of like your stomach being in a knot and being screwed up, a feeling of a blockage, like there's wind trapped in the stomach and it can't expel the wind. Being constipated, then having diarrhea, sort of like the IBS symptoms. And I've felt that. And as I was working on healing and letting, because I just thought, oh, this is something that there's something trapped in my digestive system, some emotion. So I've been working through releasing some emotions of my own on a personal level. And now I'm finding I've been contacted by a lot of other people that do spiritual work, psychics. I've also seen posts by people that do this kind of work that are also suffering with digestive problems. And I think what's going on is there is some energy shifting through our digestive systems, causing these cramps, nausea, diarrhea, constipation, not being able to get rid of wind, bloating. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of energy being focused in that area. So like before with COVID, it was more the breathing and the lungs, and like the nasal passages and the breathing and the lungs area. And now we move down into the digestive system. So I wonder if we are all going through some kind of cleansing. Not all of us, a lot of us. We're going through some kind of cleansing where it's sort of working its way down through the body. Because I guess then it will go down after we get through the digestive situation and we start healing that, we go down into the legs and feet. So it's interesting to observe what's been going on with this energy. And I know, I think it was about a year ago, maybe longer, I was in a very, very deep meditation and I visualized like the DNA shape, that shape. And it was like I was being handed a DNA key, and the key was inserted in my body, and I didn't hear that my DNA was changing. I just heard the DNA is the key. So I don't know, it seems to be all linked in some way, the way we are clearing up energy inside our physical bodies from the past, and it's working its way down. So if you're having any kind of digestive issues that's not normal, like if it's a normal thing for you, then fair enough. But if it's out of the blue and you're experiencing things like that, stabbing pain in parts of your body, and yeah, just let me know in the comments below. I also am picking up, well, I've been told in my guides and in some meditations, been getting the word amplified. Energy is amplified. Your intuition will be amplified. Your sound, internal sound, is amplified. And something I've also noticed within myself is I can hear when my body's moving. So I can hear my heartbeat. I can hear my eyes moving. I can hear my own voice vibration. It's not just using my five senses, as we all do. It's internalizing and having it amplified on the inside. So sound, I'm picking up sound and frequency on the inside, not just on the outside, and it's amplified. It's very, very loud. It's like an echo that's going on. So let me know also if you've been experiencing this as well. Back in 2019, I think it was, when I did those predictions, I remember saying that I kept seeing Venus Williams being in the news, and not for tennis, not because she was playing tennis. It was, she was going to be in the news for another reason. At the time, I didn't mention it. I didn't mention it publicly, but I mentioned it privately to some people. I actually thought it was a car crash. Well, I was getting a vision of Venus Williams and a car crash. And this explains how I can misinterpret a message, or I got like Venus Williams car crash, but not understanding what it meant. At the time, and I've had this before, I've had visions where I've seen people be in a car crash. I don't see them dying, I just see them being in a car crash. And what I believe is it's more symbolic of, a car crash is unexpected. You know, you're traveling along, it's like you're traveling along the road and you've got a destination, and all of a sudden a car crash stops you in your tracks, and it's a shock, it's a surprise, and it adds chaos into your life in that moment. So I believe when I am visualizing a car crash, it's not so much that they're actually going to have a car crash, it's symbolic that their life is cruising along in a certain direction, and then something happens which is like a car crash, which stops them in their tracks, shifts their direction, brings attention to them, and it's a bit chaotic. And I think what is happening at the moment is because of the actions of Will Smith at the Oscars, and how much controversy that has been talked about. It's put a focus onto the Venus Williams and her sister, because he was in that movie. That's the whole reason he was there, because he was playing their father in the movie of King Richard, I think it was called. So just going back to why I was probably seeing her in the future, and some kind of car crash happening around her life. Now I can put it together as, yes, I now understand that's what that meant. Like, it's when you get a vision at the time, you don't always know what it means, and later on when things start unfolding, you're like, oh yeah, now I can understand. So just thought I'd mention that prediction, and maybe that's what that all meant. Also with, I remember seeing housing changing a lot in the future, and more people being able to get into their own homes, and it being more affordable, and it sort of stops this homelessness and people renting forever, trying to get out of that rent cycle and into a home. As things, it's got us, everything has to unfold slowly. I always equate it like going on a diet. You can't take 10 years to put on a whole heap of weight and then expect to lose it in 6 months. But in reality, if it took 10 years of gradual weight gain, it really should take 10 years to gradually take it off again. It's always a process. The way that things have been created with money and housing, and the situation that has got out of hand, there's now more, there's people in authority that are actually taking notice of this problem. Before, they didn't do anything about it, swept it under the rug, didn't want to deal with it. It's now got to a point of being out of hand where they have to do something about it, which is such a human trait, is it not? to let something go and ignore it and let it go and ignore it until it gets to a point of crisis, and then something's done about it. There's never any of that pre-planning thing going on. So there's some steps that I know in Australia. I don't know about the rest of the world and what your country and what your leaders are doing, but in Australia, and what I have felt for a while is, firstly, I feel like there's different areas. So for those that have bought in the time, especially in the time of COVID when interest rates have been at their lowest, those that have bought investment properties or bought houses to rent out, I feel like they're going to be in a bit of strife in the future because they're not going to be able to pay back their mortgage on that, because the interest rates will go up again, value of houses will go down, and I kind of feel like they're going to be stuck with a decision of, we really shouldn't have bought into this without knowing what was going to be coming up ahead. And because I also see more people being able to get into their own homes, there'll be less people needing to rent. So these people that have bought houses specifically to rent out may find themselves in a situation where they're left with a property that doesn't have a renter. At the moment, it's like a fight to get into a rented place. There's line up of people to get in. I see it in the future going the other way, where a rented place is sitting there empty and no one needs to get in there because there's ability to get into their own home. They don't need to rent. They'll be able to own their own place. I see incentives for getting into your own home, especially for first home buyers. And I know just recently, I know the government in Australia have said that it's just a 5% deposit on the value of the place, not a 20%, which is going to help a lot more get into the first place. I've also felt that because I see banks changing their systems and things moving more into a digital money system, actual loans will be set up differently, and they are way more affordable to pay off than most of somebody's income going towards a mortgage or house payments or whatever they're going into. It seems to be more balanced in the future, where it's less and there's more money to go towards other things. So there's different things happening. Also, I felt like they used to have like trust home, like a housing trust used to be set up, which they got rid of. I feel like there's going to be more community-based places built. I don't see them being owned by the government, though. It's more like privately owned. What I actually thought was, when you see a retirement village, and there's like a company that owns, there's a company that owns the retirement village, and they might have 60 or 70 units in that village, and each one is sold to the occupant for about $250,000. Rather than retirement villages being set up, I see like accommodation type situations being set up that are for low income and single parents, which is so much more affordable. So it's more like it's in a community type setting, just like you would get an aged care place, but it's set up for young people that are on a low income, people that are single that can't get into their own place, because the prices are a lot cheaper to get in that situation than buying separately out of it. So that kind of feels like something that's unfolding in the future, which is going to help. I just see more people being able to get into their own homes. I also see kind of like banks, rather than banks just giving a mortgage, like a bank buys the house. A bank buys a house and the person can rent to own type back. So they're paying the house off. It's like they're paying a rent, but they're actually paying the house off. There are some kind of situations like that unfolding. I don't know the time frame of this. I kind of feel like it's within the next 10 years that this is going to unfold. I don't have all the details. It's just this vision I have of housing being a lot more affordable, more opportunities for people to get into their own home, less people needing to have to rent, and people that have, especially people that have been greedy, anybody that has been greedy and has bought a lot of properties purely just to make money, I feel like there's some major lesson there for them with in the future where they're going to be stuck with properties. And I guess that's like your intention, whatever your intention has been with anything you are doing, when your intention comes from a good place, you are rewarded with something good. When your intention comes from greed and a way to take from others, it's you are punished. It's your karma that's on this earth. Something will come back to bite you on the bum, so to speak, because of the intention that was behind it. I actually, just getting off track for a sec, I was talking to someone the other day about you can't fool the universe. You can't say, okay, you can't do a deal with the universe like a deal with the devil. So, sort of like, okay, I'm going to go and today when I see someone in the supermarket, I'm going to go and pay for their groceries. And then I'm going to go and visit someone else and take some food to their house. And I'm going to do all that so that good things happen to me. If you are doing anything with the intention you're only doing it to get something back for yourself, it will always backfire on you. The intention has to come from a place of, I really want to help this person and I don't expect anything in return. It's like when you buy a ticket to win a house. I'm buying this ticket, even though it's for the hospital lottery, I'm buying this ticket purely to win a house. And you'll find that the people that actually win those houses don't buy the ticket to win the house. They buy the ticket because the money's going towards saving people's lives in a hospital situation. Their intention is pure and only from, I am only buying this ticket to help somebody else's health. The intention's not so that I win a house out of it. And you can't fool the universe. Like, even though you can say out loud, okay, I'm just buying this ticket to help the hospital foundation. Down underneath that, if you've got that desire that you're only buying it to win the house, no, the universe knows everything. Your energy is constantly going out of you. So anytime you are doing something purely for the intention to get something back for yourself, the universe knows that. You can't trick them. And you can't trick yourself. You try to trick yourself into things like this. So just be aware of, am I doing this? Am I trying to do this purely to get something in return? Because that's why it's not happening for you. That's where your stuckness is. So if you can get out of that thought pattern of only doing stuff to get something back and do stuff that's rewarding for other people, and it can make you feel good, but not in a way where you have to get something like a reward. It's much like when you're a child and you're told, if you eat up all your dinner, you'll get ice cream. So in your mind, you get trained, like if I do something good, I get a reward. And then you start thinking like that in your adult life. With the money changes, I also noticed that the government's starting to see where they have restricted people for so long and made it so hard for people. I saw a story last night about at the moment when you retire in Australia, 65 and over, and you get a pension, which is for a single person, it's $900 a fortnight. You're only allowed to earn $300 a fortnight on the side of that as cash, as an extra like sideline. So you could only ever have $1,200 a fortnight to live off of, and they're realizing that that's difficult to live with, especially if you've got retired people that don't own their own home and they're still trying to rent a place. Because not everybody's in a situation where they've been handed things on a silver platter, or they've been through a divorce and they've been left with nothing, and at the age of 50 or 60 they're starting all over again, and it's so much harder. Or nobody in their family died and left them a house or left them a fortune, and that there's people out there that are constantly struggling for money, and there's starting to be this wake up that not everyone's getting it easy, and there's a lot more people that are doing it difficult than there are doing it easy. So I saw that they were within some, maybe the opposition or whatever, but they were trying to scrap that limit that if you're on a pension and you're on a single pension and you're on $900 a fortnight, you'll be able to earn more and still have a job. You know, because people that are 65 and 70 are still working. They're not retiring. Even over 70, they're still working because they have to keep working. So are they not, for all those years of working, entitled to get a pension and to keep working just to make it a little bit easier at the end of their life? So I did say, I remember in one of my predictions, I said things were going to get a lot easier for seniors. There was going to be more money available to seniors. So I do believe that is going to unfold in some way, where a senior can collect a pension and also continue to work and earn more money than just $300 a fortnight. And I did a little talk the other day on, I think it was on TikTok. It was just a small video about the word collective. I see so many people saying, like a spiritual people, and they're saying the collective is shifting. Then the collective, and even a friend of mine said to me the other day, the collective. And I said, well, who are the collective? Who are the collective? And she said, everyone. Everyone is the collective. So if everybody is shifting to a higher state of awareness, why is there still crime? Why is there still drug addicts? Why is there still alcoholics? Why is there people embezzling money? Why is there people murdering people? They're not. Are they part of the collective, but they're just not getting the awakening bit? I spoke about this about 3 years ago, where I said there's going to be different levels. And it's choice. And when you get up here to a certain level, you're still going to have people down here, because their soul has come to this earth with a contract to experience certain things. And they have to go through those things to get that growth. They can't just jump up here and be awakened and spiritual if they didn't get their lessons, what their soul came here for. So I really do not like the word collective. I don't believe you can put everybody into the same box. It's like labeling. Do you label yourself? Like, who are you? If I ask who you are, how do you describe yourself? Do you say, I'm a mother, or I'm a father, or I'm, whatever your job is? Do you label yourself as something? Or are you a light being that's having a human experience on earth, which is what you are? But we kind of like to label things, label ourselves, label other people, and then call everybody a collective. Like, let's put them all in the same box. The whole of the human race is raising to a higher vibration. No, they're not. You only got to look around in your own family, in your own workplaces, to see the people that are growing spiritually and seeing the bigger picture of everything. And you also notice the people that are still living on a very ego level, and they don't see anything. They still, like you might see young girls that are just so still wrapped up in the Kardashian family. And their whole life evolves around, I've got to look good, I've got to have the right handbag, I've got to have this, I've got to have that, I've got to go on a trip to a winery on a Sunday and take Instagram pictures and let everyone know that, look at my life's great. Do you really think that kind of activity is spiritually awakening? Or is that still stuck on the ego level of, I'm frightened of I'm judging myself, and I'm so frightened of how other people are going to judge me. I will literally put a mask on, which is like a facade, I know we all wear masks, but like a facade of, this is the life I want everyone to believe I'm living. I want everyone to be impressed by my life so that I can fit in with society. That's not spiritual enlightenment. That's trying to have the ego fit in so that you feel like you are part of something. And it's not wrong. It's just the level of understanding that they're at. And as they go through life, they start to realize it's not important anymore. And that comes with age as well. You know yourself, the older you get, the more you think, that doesn't, like the stuff I used to worry about in my 20s, could give a rat's ass about in my 60s. Like, I don't care. I don't care. And that comes with age and experience and the knowledge that we go through. We have to go through those things to be able to understand who we are. We can't just know it. I love one of Abraham Hicks's best sayings is, you can't get over there from here. Meaning, you can't just be there. You have to learn it. You have to learn it. You have to experience. You have to work it out. You have to process it. And then you can get yourself over there. And that's exactly what life is. It really is like going through lessons in school and you don't jump from reception to grade 7 and just know it. You've got to gradually get up there. And that's what life is like. So I don't enjoy listening to when I hear some people talking and saying the whole collective is growing. Like, I'll question them. Who are the collective? Is it just the group of people that you know? Because if you're speaking on this topic, then obviously people are very awakened, because somebody who's living purely from the ego is not going to find anything I say of any value, of any interest whatsoever. It'll go straight over their head and it will make no sense at all, because they're not even on that level yet. So how could they be part of a collective that's growing? So there's my little topics for today. I told you they were all over the place. Drop me a couple of comments below if you've just been feeling any of the digestive cramping, stabbing pains, nausea feelings. If you've had the amplified sound in your body. I know we've had the ringing in the ears for a couple of years now. That's amplified now to, well, for me it's not a ringing anymore. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's just like this whole echo thing is happening inside my body. So it's also outside, but it's also on the inside. It's like hearing on the inside and really listening to your body. Have you noticed that you're hearing your body more when your body's in pain or there's something going on, rather than just going and grabbing a Panadol just to quickly get rid of the pain? Have you noticed yourself sitting with the pain going, what is this here for? What am I supposed to be noticing about this pain? And working your way through it, because there's a lot of clearing going on with that pain, which like it's got something to do with this twisted DNA symbol that I was being shown a couple of years ago. So I hope everyone has a good day. I've been watching closely the people that have in the flood areas in Australia. I just saw the mess on, I had something on the ABC was doing a report, and they took, someone was there with their cameras, and I thought, oh my goodness, the mess that had been washed down and had just been left there. Like that, just, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you cope with that. Where do you even start? Like just looking at it, you think, where do I even start with this mess? So I really, really feel for you if you're going through that. I hope you can get some help. I hope you've got emergency accommodation and you're getting some financial help, whatever you need. I hope it's coming to you, because it's such a devastating thing to go through. Anything, bushfires, earthquakes, volcanoes, floods, tsunamis, and whenever nature hits, it causes such devastation, and we are so vulnerable. We are just vulnerable. little earthlings here that have no power over Mother Nature. So I'll hope everyone has a lovely day today, and I will talk to you soon.